All right. So welcome to week one of the Fitness Results Challenge with NXPT. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Andrea Givens, and I'm a fellow, I'm a fellow NXPT member. So hopefully we run into each other at the gym. Nobody has their videos turned on, which is totally fine, but I can't see your face. So if you guys see me in the gym, feel free to come up to me, introduce yourself. I love getting to know the different members in these calls and then seeing you guys in classes. I usually go in the morning to either boot camp or spin, and then yoga. I'm kind of go at a variety of times. So hopefully I will run into you guys in the gym, and yeah, just come up and introduce yourselves to me. So I'm an NXT member first and foremost, and then I'm also a registered dietitian and an exercise physiologist. I've worked in clinical settings, I've worked in corporate wellness. I currently work in the military tactical space, and I just love food, and I love what it can do for our health and our performance. And it's awesome to be able to help gym members achieve whatever you guys are trying to achieve. So I know when these challenges come up, most people are interested in weight loss, specifically losing body fat, gaining muscle. But if you have any other like health or performance goals or challenges when it comes to nutrition, let me know and we can kind of speak to those. But in general, most people are interested in fat loss, muscle gain, or muscle maintenance. So hopefully everybody got a scan and has looked at their results. So that's just a starting point, and it's really cool that we use the same BIA machine to do our body comp, and that machine stays in the gym, and we can use it over time because we can track our results. So me personally, I've been going to the gym since like 2019, so I have like multiple scans in there so I can see my progress like over time. And so make sure that you get your scan at the end of the challenge. If you don't get the results at the end of this 6 weeks that you're hoping for, like keep going, because over time, and like now for me, like 3 years later, I have so many data points. And so it's cool that we have that same machine that stays the same to be able to track changes over time. So when you're looking at your results, probably the first thing that everybody goes to is body fat percentage, which is fine, but I want to point out a few other things that you should be looking at in your results. So body fat percentage for females, normal is up to 30%. For males, normal is up to 25%, depending on your age. But the first thing I want to say is that you need body fat. Everybody has to have some fat on their body. No one has zero body fat. So just so you kind of know a reference point of what's normal, I know if you are on like the desktop version, looking at your results, you can see kind of some graphs, and it puts you, it like plots you in like what's normal for your age. But just to lay that out there, normal body fat percentage for women is anywhere between like 12 to 15% would be really lean. And then all the way up to 30% is completely normal. We need body fat for our hormones, to protect our vital organs. There's a lot of functions in our body. So don't be afraid when you see that number. And then another thing that you should look at on your scan, which I think is probably even more important, especially for women, than the body fat percentage, is actually your muscle mass. So this is something that I've been focusing on since I've been a member at NXPT, is maintaining and building my muscle mass, because as we get older into our third, fourth decade of life, our muscle mass starts to decrease. And if you don't use it, you lose it. So going to the gym, going to the classes where there's weightlifting going on, going to yoga sculpt, lifting weights, lifting heavy weights, increasing your weights as you get stronger, are all important things to make sure that you are maintaining your muscle mass. So look at your muscle mass on your scan, and then I'll talk about your nutrition to support maintaining that and building that. And then the other thing that I want you to look at on your scan, so body fat, muscle mass, and then the third thing is your basal metabolic rate or your resting metabolic rate. So this, I believe, is under like the wellness tab. And this number is the number of calories that you need, that your body needs just for basic physiologic function, just to be alive and breathing every day. So our brain uses a ton of calories, our heart needs calories to pump blood, our lungs need calories to do the oxygen exchange in our lungs. That number, mine is around 1,400 or 1,500. So my body, if I was doing nothing else except for just laying in bed all day, I would burn 1,500 calories. So what's important about that number is that you should never eat less than that, because if you do, then your body is going to lower that number. It's going to go into like a conservation mode. So basal metabolic rate or resting metabolic rate is super important number. We always want to be eating way more than that. The calorie calculator worksheet will help you to determine the amount of calories above your BMR you should be consuming. So you can do the simple math there. I promise it's easy. And again, if you need help, you can email me and I'll be happy to help you out with that. So when it comes to nutrition, most of us like know what healthy eating is. It just comes down to like action and actually doing those things. Our lives get really busy, really hectic. So one of the things that we see a lot of success with our members is doing like meal prep. If you are eating food that you've prepared yourself at home, you have such a better idea of what's in the food, and you have more control over the portion sizes, the ingredients, everything like that. So if you can, like, and today was the perfect day, right? It's a Sunday, it's rainy. Hopefully you did some meal prep. So there's a few different ways that people like to execute this. And my first tip is actually to make sure that you have really good containers. So investing in, I personally like the glass containers with like the snap lids. That way you can take the lid off and you can microwave them and it's glass. And then the snap lids are really nice because if you're transporting your food to work or wherever you're going throughout the day, the lids like stay on in case your bag gets like tipped over or something, then you don't lose your food. So investing in good like meal prep containers to bring with you to work or wherever you might be off during the day. And then some people like to make complete meals. I'm sure you've seen pictures online of like the little containers with all the meal like pre-portioned out. So you can do that. You can do entire meals like that. You can also do something what's called like batch cooking, where you just make a recipe and you either make more of it, or you take individual ingredients and you just cook them in larger batches, and then you can kind of mix and match throughout the week, putting different things together. So some examples of that. So just making like larger portions or extra portions. So for example, today I made a big crock pot of a turkey white bean chili. And so I have like at least 4 portions of that that I can have throughout the week. Batch cooking on the other hand, so I shop at Costco. I'm sure some of you guys do too. So I got those small like baby potatoes and some Brussels sprouts and butternut squash, and put the potatoes in my air fryer, roasted the Brussels sprouts, roasted the butternut squash, and then I also have different proteins. So I have chicken. I have, especially from Costco, I really like their frozen like salmon burgers. And so I just batch cook like the potatoes, the veggies, and then I can add protein to that and have meals like throughout the week. So whatever meal prep kind of method you prefer. If you're not doing a lot of meal prep right now, I would suggest starting with just like a couple days at a time. So don't try to do the whole week, but maybe just either try to do a couple days of meal prep or just pick like one meal. So maybe you just want to do your breakfast. So you would make that for the week, or maybe you would just make your lunches. So another thing you could do is like salad. So having the large containers of salad or bag salad, and then separately cooking, having protein, and then you can just throw it together and assemble it the night before, like to take to work or whatever. So different ways to do meal prep, but whatever works for you and makes sense for your life and your schedule, try to do some meal prep. I've kind of alluded to the different components of a meal, but just to go further into that, a balanced meal, I like to keep it really simple, and I just say that you want protein, carbohydrate, and then color. So by color, I mean fruits or vegetables, produce, anything that falls into that category. So especially at breakfast, and especially with women, I tend to see really low protein intakes. So most people need, depending on your size and your activity level, most people need between like 15 and 30 grams of protein per meal. So especially in the morning, we see that number is really hard for people to hit. So making sure in the morning that you're having like Greek yogurt or eggs, cottage cheese. I personally like the Kodiak cakes, like waffle or pancake mix that I'll make into waffles. If you make it with an egg, it's high protein, and they have protein in the batter and it's whole grain. So getting in protein that way. If you like oatmeal or overnight oats, those are really healthy foods, but there's not a lot of protein in that. So having hard-boiled eggs on the side, if you make overnight oats using milk that has high protein, you can add Greek yogurt into that and stir it in. Just making sure that you're having some sort of protein in the morning is super important. So that's kind of how you compose a meal, is protein, carbohydrate, and then color. Carbohydrates, we need them to function, especially when we're in the gym with the activities that we're doing, the high intensity workouts that we have. We certainly need carbohydrates, but the amount is going to depend on your activity level, and you want to have carbohydrates surrounding your workout. And then later on, like for example, if you exercise in the morning, you want carbohydrates surrounding your workout, and then the meals that you have later on throughout the day, you don't need as many carbohydrates or as big of a portion at those meals, because if you're less active, especially if you have like a sedentary job, carbohydrates are kind of like our body's fuel or gasoline, so you need it surrounding your activity, and then further away from that, you don't need as much. So hopefully that makes sense. So that's kind of the plate template that we go by: protein, carbohydrates, and color for meals. For snacks, you want to have at least 2 of those things. So you want to have either protein and carbohydrates or protein and color. So good snack options, I always say you want to prioritize like whole foods. So having things like hard-boiled eggs, veggies, and like hummus. So you can either do like baby carrots or those little mini sweet bell peppers that are just like snack size. You know, celery sticks, edamame, popcorn, dried fruit, fresh fruit. Those are all preferred snacks, is to have like actual whole food sources. But of course, we live in fast-paced, has crazy schedules, and we need to rely on convenience foods. So you just want to look at ingredients. You want things that are as close to whole foods as possible. So I personally always recommend like Kind bars or RX bars, because they're actually made with just like whole nuts and dried fruit, and they're conveniently packaged, shelf-stable. They're awesome. So and they don't need to be refrigerated. So when you're looking, there's so many different like granola bars, protein bars, etc. out there. So when you're looking at bars and like snack foods, I recommend no more than 10 grams of added sugar. And then if you are looking for a good source of protein, there should be like at least 5 to 8 grams of protein. If you have more than that, then there's probably protein added to the product. I don't know if it's going to taste very good. But the main thing I look for in like snack and packaged foods is going to be like the added sugar, and you want that to be less than 10 grams. And then just aim for those like whole food options. So whether that's popcorn, you know, you can buy the individual serving sizes. That's a good way for like to do portion or calorie control, is to like buy things that are already packaged in like the little 100-calorie snack packs. Or you can buy the larger bag and then pre-portion it yourself. But things like popcorn, Kind bars, beef jerky, hard-boiled eggs, individual string cheese, or the, you know, the small little like 1 ounce of cheese, those are all like good snack foods to have. Having regular meal times during the week and weekends are going to be helpful. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, the timing of those is going to depend on your schedule. And then you're definitely going to need snacks in between your meals. Most people that are active get hungry every 3 to 5 hours. And so you might, depending on your day and when your meals are, you might need a snack mid-morning, you might need a snack in the afternoon. And these are just opportunities to get more fuel in your body, more nutrition, and they're really going to help with portion control when you have your meals, and especially later on in the day. So I know it's really common for people just to drink coffee in the morning. Caffeine is a central nervous system stimulant. So it makes your body feel, makes your brain feel awake and alert, but it doesn't provide you with any actual energy. Only food does that. So I see it all the time. It's really common for people to just drink coffee in the morning and not eat any food, and then maybe snack with whatever they find around midday. And then they go home and you're so starving, and you're so much more likely to overeat or not make healthy food choices when you're really hungry. And so eating in the morning can help with your satiety and making good nutrition choices later on. And then the other thing is, people always ask is like, what should they eat before or after a workout? So this is going to depend on the time of day that you're working out. But for the most part, you want to have something that's primarily like carbohydrate, quick digesting before the workout. You do not want to eat something that has a lot of fiber or a lot of fat, because those things stay in our stomach longer, they're slower to digest, and you don't want to feel heavy or bloated when you're trying to exercise. So fruits and vegetables are really healthy for you, but you don't want to eat a ton of fiber right before you exercise. It might not be the most comfortable thing. You want to stick with quickly digesting carbohydrates. And then after your workout, most of us are just doing the 45-minute classes, so you really just need water during your workout. And then afterwards, there's no like specific time cutoff that you have to get your nutrition by, but I will say that the sooner the better. You don't want to delay eating for too long, because you will feel more sore. You won't want to work out again the next day. So it's just best if you have your nutrition ready to go as soon as the workout's over. So whether that's bringing something in the car to drink on the way home, like a whey protein powder mixed with either water or your favorite milk and a piece of fruit. If I have to rush off to somewhere, that's what I'll do. I'll bring whey protein powder in a shaker bottle with either water or almond milk and like a banana. And so I have protein, carbohydrate, and fluid right after the workout. If I am going home or I'm able to have a meal after that, I just still have those 3 components. So I like to say it's the 3 R's of recovery nutrition. You want protein to rebuild, carbohydrate to refuel, and fluid to rehydrate. So right after the workout, as long as you have protein, carbohydrate, and fluid, then your body is going to be happy. Your muscles are going to be super happy. If I'm going home, I like to make a smoothie. So I always keep frozen fruit on hand, and I put frozen fruit, whey protein, either water or almond milk. I do drink cow's milk, or I do have cow's milk otherwise, but If I'm just having recovery nutrition, I just like the almond milk because it's lower calorie, and I'm getting the protein from the protein powder, so I don't need the protein from the cow's milk, but I'm not against cow's milk. I recommend it for other things. And then I like to shove I get baby spinach or like the power greens or the super greens and just shove like as much greens as I can fit in my blender. And so I'm getting some good greens in, and you can't even taste them because the frozen fruit is so sweet. So that is protein, carbohydrate from the fruit, and then fluid. So I'm getting in those three things right after a workout. And again, if you guys have any specific nutrition questions, feel free to either unmute yourself and you can just ask, or you can put them in the chat box, and I can see those. So we have about 5 more minutes. I can just keep talking on some of these topics, but if you guys have specific questions, please let me know. This is for you. So pre-workout, that would be something like you could do like half a banana. You could do any type of like oat-based thing or like cereal. Some people like to do like graham crackers, or like from Costco, those like Nature's Bakery like fig bars. So anything that's carbohydrate like that, and is not super high in fiber. Good question. Yeah, I would say most common things are like bananas, graham crackers, pretzels, depending on the time of day, anything like that. Any type of like granola or like oat-based bar, a small handful of like Quaker oatmeal squares, something like that, something that's carbohydrate. Good question. Did anybody do meal prep today? You guys have anything to share? I made that chili since it's a rainy day. Veggie soup. Nice. So I'm sure that has obviously veggies in it to round out the meal. What were the sources of carbohydrate and protein that either were in the soup or maybe that you're going to eat on the side, so that it completes kind of that meal template that I said earlier, with protein, carbohydrates, and obviously you already have the color. How do you round out the meal? Slice of Ezekiel bread, and still working on the protein part. Okay, awesome. I love Ezekiel bread. That's super good. Yes, and that's really common, is that we get it's really easy to like get on this like veggie kick. But protein, you definitely want to have protein with your meals, snacks. If you don't eat any animal products or meat, then you want to have plant-based protein. So you can either do like tofu, tempeh, beans are an incomplete protein, but there's some protein there. Other like soy products, I already said tempeh. There's stuff that you can like put into soups. It's called textured vegetable protein. You can buy it at like bulk stores, usually has it. But yeah, make sure that you're getting some source of protein, because protein is going to help keep you full and satisfied until your next meal. And it's also going to help to build and maintain your muscle mass, which is so important to just for your health, for your independence, and to help you in the gym. So what other questions do you have for me? What time do you guys normally go to the gym? What class and time?
I've been normally going to the 4:30 class, but sometimes I'll pop in to the spin at 5:30 with my neighbor. So
Nice. 4:30 a.m.?
no, 4:30 p.m. Although one of these days I'll be brave enough to try 4:30 a.m. So
Yeah, I have done one 4:30 a.m. class last week because it was somebody's birthday and she asked me to go. And I don't know if I could ever do it again. I go at 5:30, but for like the 1 hour earlier is like it's too much.
yeah, I don't know if I see myself making that a regular habit, but
Yeah.
we'll try it. We'll try anything once and go from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm not there in the evening too frequently. Well, I guess for yoga I am, but the other classes, but hopefully I'll see you guys in the gym. So the time is up for this call, but if you guys have any questions that come up in the future, you can either look through the video library that we have on our YouTube page. There's like a nutrition playlist, and so you can just look through the different videos that that I've posted from past challenges, and they all have kind of a description of like what I end up talking about in that video, so you can kind of look through some of those. You can always email me, ask me in the gym, and we will get your nutrition questions answered and give you any support. Yeah, thank you for joining tonight, and look forward to seeing you guys in the gym. Have a good rest of your day.